And welcome back to another snake video. So I thought we'd do something a little bit different this time, and risking fate with snakes outside on a couch, we're going to show you a few different Australian pythons. So this here is a jungle jag zebra hybrid. Yes, you are. There he is there. You got a bit of fluff on your nose. So all these snakes are captive bred, obviously. So this is a young snake, about 2.5 years old. Now, all the confusing name, it is a jungle python with coastal carpet python genetics in it. Yeah, so it's a bit of a mongrel. So coastal carpet pythons live along the east coast of Australia. Jungle pythons are far up north, so sort of right up north on the east coast. And yes, this is a hybrid between the both of them. It's got a couple of dominant genes to it as well. So it has what is called a jag gene. It reduces the pattern and brings out the colors. And this one, it's brought out the yellow. And it's got the zebra gene as well. So the jag gene is a coastal gene and the zebra gene is a jungle gene. I know. So it's multi-gene animal, which makes this weird pattern. Kind of a cool snake. The only problem with jags is genetically they have neurological problems. This one is not showing really any issues like that, but 99% of them are going to show issues with neurological problem. So we don't really breed jags or anything like that. Where are you going? Let me grab you. Come here. Come here. So these snakes will get a decent size. This one's probably about 4.5, 5 foot. They're going to max out about between 6 and 8 foot, depending on the genetics of them. Lovely snakes. Not all of them are going to look this yellow, but the jag gene, they've usually got that weird sort of silver eye to them, as you can see, just as he goes back down the couch again. Come here. So adult snakes of this type are going to eat adult rats quite easily. They are a big snake. At this size, he's going to eat a small rat, even though he doesn't look overly big. Anyway, let's jump to another snake. And this is what a pure zebra jungle looks like. So it's got no genetics from the coastal carpet python. This is an adult, so looking at about 5 foot or so. Make sure that he doesn't, well, she's a she, doesn't spook and decide to bite me. But that is about as big as what a standard jungle carpet python is going to get, which is a pretty decent size. So this size, they're going to eat adult to jumbo rats. And generally a pretty cool snake. So with jungle pythons, they are notorious for being a nippy snake. And if we zoom into the eyes, see how he doesn't have those silver eyes that the jag gene does? So that's sort of how you can tell if they're not a jag. Yeah, and apart from the neurological problems, which just means twitchiness and stuff like that. So as I said, I don't breed jags, but I do breed zebras, and zebra just means that the pattern is a lot finer. Doesn't even really look like a zebra. I suppose if you squint, it kind of looks zebra-y, but that is why they're called a zebra. It is a co-dominant gene, which means if you breed a zebra with a normal jungle python, and we'll show you one of those in a second, you'll get half zebras and half normal. So yeah, they don't carry the genetics like albinos and stuff like that, which is recessive. Oh, you're a big snake. Where are you? Let me just try and untangle your tail. Pop you there. Wrapping around me. I know, it's very hard to film animals on camera. There we go. Okay, so you can kind of see how big she is there. Kind of, sort of. So very cool snakes. As they mature, they're going to sort of lose a little bit of the bright yellow to them. But she is probably a good 8 or 9 years old, to give you an idea. They're going to live up to 25 years as well. So a very cool snake if you want something a little bit different pattern-wise than a normal jungle python. And this is a normal jungle python. Okay, jungle pythons come in a big variety of colors, different colored browns and sort of tans to black and yellow like this one, black and white, almost solid black. There is a huge variation. A very pretty snake. So they come from far north Queensland. They like it super warm, and they're going to max out about this size, which is about 5 to 6 foot. So notorious for being nippy, and again, they have the really cool black eyes, as you can see on him. He's like, don't do that, don't touch me, we're going to touch you. That is how big a standard jungle python is going to be. So a little bit aggro, as most jungle pythons can be. He's not biting or anything like that, but a very, very cool snake. So this particular jungle python is about 12 to 15 years old, bred by me. A very cool looking snake. So obviously he's not in his prime anymore, but he is still looking really, really nice. We're just going to grab you there. Oh, there you go. But a very, very nice looking snake. If you want something natural color that's not carrying any weird genetics or anything like that, that is a black and gold jungle python. So cool. They're just such a nice, cool snake. And we have a Darwin carpet python. So Darwin is in the Northern Territory, right up the top of Australia. This is the albino version, which is pretty common in the aquarium. I was going to say the aquarium trade, the reptile trade. Yeah, very, very pretty snakes. Now, albinos obviously don't have any black or brown pigmentation to them, which just pretty much means that you get all the yellows, you get the oranges, reds if they have any red to them as well, and they have the red eyes, as you can see there. A very, very pretty snake. They're going to max out between 6 and 8 foot, so they're a pretty big snake. They're going to eat sort of adult to extra large rats quite easily as well. Now, if we just gently come over here and pick you up, because he does not like to be picked up like that. Doesn't look overly big, but that is a pretty girthy carpet python. So very easy to look after. Obviously you don't want UVB or anything because of their eyes. Albinos really don't like the UVB because it can damage their eyes. You can use UVB with pretty much any of the other carpet pythons, but it's not exactly necessary. A very, very cool snake. If you want something really nice and different looking, they're probably one of the most common albino carpet pythons you can get. But that is an Albino Darwin carpet python. Aren't you pretty? You're an awesome, awesome snake. Yes, you are. Let's find another one. And this is a Queensland water python, otherwise known as a rainbow serpent, mainly because they have a really nice iridescent sheen to them, as you can kind of make out with a little bit of sunlight there. Lovely, lovely snakes. They sort of look a bit like a brown snake, a bit like a olive python, but the main difference between a water python and an olive python is the bright yellow belly. Now, they come from Queensland as well as the Northern Territory, and there's slight variations between both of them. This is a Queensland form. Very, very cool snakes. Look at the yellow of your belly. So I've had this one for, a good 20 years. I used to breed them. I don't breed them anymore. I've just got the one snake now. But they are pretty awesome things. So max out about that big, which is probably, if we can zoom out, about 6 foot or so, give or take a little bit. But yeah, a little bit notorious for being a nippy animal, but obviously, the same as most other pythons, they're going to calm down with age. But the belly is just ridiculously yellow. A very, very cool python. If you want something a little bit different, there's still a few people breeding these regularly, but not as regularly as carpet pythons and jungles and stuff like that. One day I might pair her up again and get another one, but no sort of plans for that anytime soon. Awesome little snakes, very small. Oh, what are you doing over there? Very, very small face to them, and a very, very small neck, but they're still going to eat decent sized food. So large jumbo rats, same as most of the other bigger carpets, even though this is not a carpet python, but it's still a python. How cool are you? Yeah, it's just a nice looking snake. If you want something to freak out the neighbors, they'll probably think it's a brown snake, but it's a snake and it's brown. That's about where it stops. Obviously non-venomous because it is a python. Look at the iridescent sheen. Such a lovely snake. Yes, you are. I better retrieve them from the pillows. Now, another absolutely awesome Australian python is the black-headed python. Obviously called a black-headed python because they have a shiny black head. And the reason they have a black head is because in the wild where they sort of live in burrows, and they stick their head out of the burrow, heat themselves up with the sun, and then stick their head back in. So yeah, kind of a really bizarre type of python. Again, these don't have heat pits as well, so if we can turn you around, because you are a big snake, they don't have the heat pits along the side of their mouth that the normal pythons have. So they kind of look like a venomous snake, but they're not a venomous snake. They do eat venomous snakes though, so this is one of the reptile-eating pythons in Australia. A woma is another type again. Very cool snakes. Now, they do get big, so this girl here, probably about 8 foot, give or take. They're going to eat easily jumbo rats. In the wild, they're not really a huge mammal eater. They're more lizards, reptiles, that sort of stuff, other snakes. So she will be sniffing around, smelling all the other snakes that we had on the couch. Yeah. Now they've got a really good bite to them, but they are a pretty cool snake. They don't really bite as much as normal carpet pythons can, but they kind of headbutt instead. Really, really strange, super, super cool snake. If you want something slightly bigger, I've kept and bred black-headed pythons for years, like a long, long time. Haven't bred them in the last maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. I lose track of time. I will breed them again, but yeah, I don't have any available at the moment. But how lovely is that? They are a pretty popular pet snake because they look so much different than most of the other carpet pythons, or, well, any python really for that matter, apart from the woma. And the woma python sort of looks the same, except it's got sort of a orange head. I don't keep womas anymore, just black-headed pythons, but there is a huge variation with colour and all sorts of your black-headed pythons. How lovely are you? Apart from continuously wanting to get down on the ground. Yes. Anyway, another awesome Australian python. Let's jump to something else. And for the last snake, we have another albino python. This is a spotted python. Again, they have the red eyes because they're albino, and it just gets rid of all the brown and black pigmentation. So spotted pythons will get around about 3 foot on average. Some of them can get about 4 foot or so. So this girl is an adult. If you'll stretch out, which I'm sure you won't, you stretch out. Let's move your tail. She's like, don't move my tail. So a nice sized python. They're in the family of children's pythons. So you've got your children's, your spotteds, your stimmies, and your pygmy pythons. These are probably one of the larger ones out of the group. But again, that's about as big as a standard one is going to get. You're going to get variation with size. So some of them are going to get a lot bigger than this. Some are a little bit smaller. They're going to eat adult mouse to sort of medium-sized rat sort of size, to give you an idea. So anything about double the size, middle of the snake, is what these snakes can eat. Awesome little snakes. So the normal ones obviously are not albino, it's just different genetics with this one, but an all-round awesome little Australian snake. If you want something a little bit different, super cool. I don't currently breed albinos. I might have some het albinos in the next year or so, but you can pick them up pretty much online at a few reptile breeders here and there. There we go. And if you did like this video, click the thumbs up so I know. If you want more videos like this, comment down below, or the more people that watch this video will entice me to do more snake videos. Otherwise, check out a few of the older videos I've got on my channel. There'll be a playlist on the screen about now, and we will see you then. Thanks heaps for watching.